Hello everyone, this is Lam here. In today's Fuji Friday, I want to talk about a few topics. Now they're all pretty short, so I figured I'd smash them all together into one episode. That way I can actually fill out an episode and I can cover all of the topics. First one I want to cover is that the X-T3 just released, so I'm getting my shipment right now. I'm hoping to get it Saturday. But whenever it gets here, I'm really excited to get the camera and test it out and see what it's really all about, because you really don't know until you get the cameras in your hand and you start using it. Now, having said all that, it's kind of interesting that there's already a firmware patch. I have it up right here. This is firmware version 1.01, and what they're already fixing is in continuous high shooting. They're fixing distortion with the electronic shutter. That's kind of interesting. Really don't know much about that. I don't really do a lot of high-speed shooting with my XT camera. So for those of you who are taking a lot of fast shots, definitely let us know what you think about that. The one that everybody's talking about is the lockup problems the X-T3 currently has. Of course, we're just now getting the camera, so we might not actually see it if the camera is shipped with the new firmware already applied. That's going to be one of the things that I'm going to be looking for when I actually open the box. So I'm definitely going to apply it if I don't have it already in the camera, and I'm going to see if the camera locks up while I'm using it. Keep in mind though, the RAW converters for Lightroom isn't out yet, so I'm really not going to be doing any still pictures or anything like that. I primarily want to use it for video anyway, so that's what I'm going to be doing for the first couple of weeks, at least until Lightroom updates, so that I can actually use the RAWs in the X-T3. Another item to take a look at is that they also updated their LUTs if you're using F-Log. So for anybody who's trying to look for maximum dynamic range and shooting in F-Log, you definitely want to grab these LUTs because they will make your life a whole lot easier, because you can apply color grading directly to your F-Log to make it look good fairly easily. Even if you're not using F-Log, I would recommend that you grab them, save it off just in case you ever need it. That way you have it with you. They're not very big in size. You might not ever use them, but if you do need to use them, trust me, you're going to be really happy that you have that already downloaded and ready to go. The next thing I want to talk about are these Wasabi batteries. These came with my USB charger. I just wanted a USB charger because they make really great travel chargers. And these came with it, and I've been using these for quite a while. And I just want to do a quick review on them because there are goods and there are bads. Now, on the good side, one thing that you'll always know is that they're like a fourth of the cost of the original batteries. So for every one of the original batteries you buy, you can probably buy like 4 of these. So they're really great bang for the buck. But on the downside, what I found out is that they can be somewhat unreliable. I use these batteries pretty hard because I film a lot. A lot of the footage that I film actually never make it onto YouTube, but I do a lot of filming. So I'm using these batteries very often. So both these batteries I'm charging 2 to 3 times per week. So I go through a lot of cycles very quickly. Most lithium ion batteries, they're good for about 500 cycles. And I would say I'm about a fourth of the way through the charges already. So I use these quite a bit. When I use these on my X-T20, they work perfectly fine for both photo and video. They're very reliable. They probably have a slight bit less charge or less runtime than the original batteries, but they're well worth it. Now, when it comes to my XH1, if I have everything turned on, so I'm talking about IBIS, I'm talking about HDMI out, and I'm recording in 4K, what I find is that these batteries at around under 50%, they become slightly unreliable, especially some of the ones that I've been using for a very long time, and I've gotten through a lot of charges because I do date mine. And what I find is that occasionally under 50%, the XH1 will kind of shut down or lock up when I'm using these batteries. If I go ahead and take out this battery and just put in a fresh battery, the problem goes away. If I continue using the same battery, especially with everything turned on, what I'll find is that I can consistently almost get minor lockup problems with these batteries. So that's something to watch out for. If you're going to be using aftermarket batteries on your XH1, I would definitely recommend keeping track of the number of cycles on these, and when it starts becoming problematic, either cycle them off to other cameras that aren't as power hungry, or just throw them away. They are kind of cheap, and it is a very big hassle to have your cameras lock up in the middle of a shoot. So definitely look out for that. So original batteries, still very good, but very expensive. The aftermarket batteries, the only one I've tried so far are the Wasabi ones, because these are Japanese made and they're supposed to be very good. They're, I don't know, average. I wouldn't call them above average. If these are, excellent to very good, these would be probably average. And, for the price, I would still use them. But this is the reason why for my XH1 that I'm using right now, I went ahead and went to a dummy battery. That way I just don't have to deal with the hassle of having to constantly change batteries. It's just so much easier for the workflow to be able to just keep the camera turned on and then continue to recording and then edit and everything else. It's definitely worth it if you have your cameras in a stationary position and you have power to either a USB charger or an outlet. Alright, so the last thing that I want to talk about is the next generation of XH cameras. A lot of people are saying the XH2, which makes a lot of sense because right now it's the XH1. But one thing that I do want to say is that I'd rather them call it the XH3, just so that all of the cameras line up for the current generation. We have the X-T3 right now. I'm sure the X-T30 is going to be coming out pretty soon. And when the next generation of XH cameras, which if you're following the number system should be the XH2, but the reason why I say the XH3 is that for people that don't know the X series of cameras, it would be so much easier to follow when I'm talking to people about cameras. Anytime that I go down a number, they automatically assume that that camera is the last generation, which I don't blame them. If you don't really keep up with the camera technologies of the Fuji cameras, then it's going to look that way. So I really hope that when Fuji comes out with the next generation of the XH cameras, they go ahead and skip the number 2 and go straight to 3. That way all of it lines up. And then when you go down to the websites and you do your comparisons, it really looks a lot better because all of the numbers match up. Anyways, that's my thoughts on it. Do you think that Fuji should skip a number and then just line up all of the cameras with the proper digits? That's what I think. I really hope it happens. Don't know which one will come out next, but only time will tell. Anyways, that's all I have for this week. Hopefully some of it was informative. Definitely let me know what you think. And until next time, thank you so much for watching.